Hey everyone, welcome to our small footprint. My name is Nyssa, and if you're new here, we are a large family living off-grid in Australia. Now, as per usual, after the grocery haul, my timing is a little bit skewed. So it is now Monday morning. I got back Friday afternoon, and we filmed all the groceries on Friday afternoon when we got back. But I'm only just getting the chance to film the intro and the dollar values and things like that. It's early, it's 6 a.m. And I was awake and up, so I thought I'd get it done before everyone else gets up and moving around. I got the kettle on for coffee, so I thought I'd come out here and get this filmed so I can get it edited and probably still up at 7:30 like I normally would have it up. So we are a family of 7 at the moment, and we live off-grid, west of Toowoomba, and we shop it varies, but at the moment it's about every 7 weeks. And the purpose of that is to save money. When we first moved out here, I was shopping locally, about an hour and a half away at Toowoomba, fortnightly, and I was spending a lot of money on groceries. It was just amazing how much money we were spending on groceries, and we never seemed to feel like we had any backup of food or surplus or anything else. And part of that was that things are a little more expensive in Toowoomba, but also that I wasn't buying bulk foods because I wasn't going to Costco. I didn't manage to find a good relationship with any sort of fruit and veg shop there, so I was just buying bags of stuff off shelves, and I was only buying a fortnight's worth, so that sort of worked. I was just taking a car in, going every fortnight, but it took a whole day to do as well because it's an hour and a half each way plus multiple shops and all the rest of it, and I was spending a lot of money. It just felt it was not efficient, and it wasn't sustainable. At the time, we were really, really tight on cash, and it was not sustainable. So what I decided to do was to take a bit longer and to go down to Costco as well. I'm lucky, my mum lives in Brisbane, so I had somewhere to stay, free accommodation. So what I started doing was going down, staying the night, and doing Costco and everything on the way back, using fruit and veg shops down there and things like that. Eventually that evolved. So instead of doing that, because of the travel costs and everything as well, we decided that less often would be better. And what we found was that by shopping less often, we were spending much the same amount of money, but with better quality food and more of a stockpile. So I like to have enough food in this house, on the property, so that if I can't make a shopping trip, then I have enough to get through until the next shopping trip would be. So if I'm shopping every 7 weeks, I like to have 14 weeks worth of food at a minimum in the house, just so that if something happened, and things have happened, cars and health and all the rest of it, that I can sustain our family without having to worry excessively. That's the idea anyway. So we started extending the shopping trips out longer. And in the end, I started staying an extra night so that I could also do Bunnings and Kmart and Big W. And I got a really good relationship going with Mega Fresh at Browns Plains, which is the fruit and vegetable shop that I go to, where he would let me buy things by the box rather than having to buy everything in individual bags. So rather than buying 1 kilo bags of things, I could just buy the 15 kilo box, which has worked really well for us. And I just buy seasonally. So I'm not going there to try and get things cheap. I'm not there. I get some stuff cheap because they save some stuff for me, like boxes of fruit that's no longer can be sold on the shelf because there's a bad one in the box, or whatever else. They save it for me because they know I'll use it, because I'll bring it straight home, I'll split it all up, the bad stuff goes to the animals, and the kids will eat the rest because my kids aren't fussy, which is very lucky. So I managed to get a really good relationship there, and the butcher that is next to them is pretty good too. Some months there's not much there, some months there is. I do a bulk meat order now though, because we don't have the ute and that at the moment, so we only have one esky to take. So I have been purchasing bulk meat through Meat Online, in the off. This shopping trip is in October, and the next one won't be until December, and I might do a meat order in November, so in that off month, depending on cash flow. But we do have plenty of meat at the moment from the previous one, plenty of chicken breasts, chicken thighs, wings, drumettes. I also have some rump left as well, and I have a bag of beef trim left from last month as well. So all I really bought was pork and deli meats this particular trip, because we had all that meat already, and that was calculated into last month's budget. So if you want to have a look at the value of that and the video with the meat in it, it'll be a previous video. I'll see if I can link it. So this month was fairly light on the meats because I just didn't really need to. Next month's going to be a challenge because it's Christmas month. There'll be Christmas presents, as well as I normally buy prawns and all that sort of thing at Christmas time. So we're going to have to figure that out. But for this month, it was a fairly easygoing shop, realistically, compared to some of mine. I used the new cargo hitch, and yeah, so it was a 7-weekly shop for the 7 of us off grid to top up our pantries. But we already have a pretty good pantry too. So the planning video that is a couple of videos back, again, I'll try and put it in the description. It gives you the way that I inventory everything that I have and shows you a little bit of what we already had before I went shopping. And then now this is the groceries. So I will show you all the groceries, and then I will come back and I will give you all the numbers for it. All right, table 1. We're getting this and try and fit as much as we can on each table is the plan. So we have soy sauce, oyster sauce, and 2 maple syrups, because we use more of this when we're making granola in granola season, and some tomato ketchup for the kids. I got another big pot of the garlic and ginger paste because I found I use this quite a lot. I might decant it though. I might decant it into some smaller containers though, just to make it easier to use. I got some rice bran oil and some vegetable oil. I tend to use these for my frying and things like that, so I like to have some of those for using for that. This was a impulse buy at Costco. It's a mango daiquiri margarita mix, and it was basically bought because I still really want to get a Ninja slushie or a generic branded one, and I'm hoping to be able to budget it in. So this was bought because it probably won't be there next time I go, and if I don't buy one of those, I can still make it up, just not going to be quite as, fancy. So I grabbed that. I grabbed the olive oil. It is still $55 for the 2 Kirkland olive oils at the moment, and a 6-pack of the 800-gram tins of tomatoes. I grabbed a whole bunch of the Mission tortillas for the kids, and some of the carb balanced low carb wraps for Darryl, as well as a pack of baking paper because apparently we were out. We've still got people bringing stuff in, so this is going to be a little less, fluid as normal. Once we get going, we'll be right. We got 6 of the rice cakes from Aldi for the kids. They have these with peanut butter and jam all the time. I needed some more whole almonds. There's a bag of whole almonds. I bought another jar of the pistachio cream so that I can make the pistachio ice cream. I got the UHT coconut milk that the kids like to use in their hot drinks, and this was half price, so I grabbed a box of just granola bars for the kids as a treat. I bought a big bag of panko crumbs from Costco because it's cheaper to buy them from there. And then I bought a variety of coffees. These ones were on special at Coles or Woolworths, and then this one was on special at Costco, and then these were the cheap one. I don't know if I've tried this one yet. I know that we don't mind this one. It's a little mild though. I can't remember if we've tried this one. I think we have, and it was fine. I don't know if we tried the house blend, and I haven't tried this one, but it was on special, so I gave those a go. We're not overly fussy with coffee, so it doesn't really matter. I got the kids some of their flavoured straws because they haven't been using rice milk as much for cereal, so I thought that might be a nice treat for them. I got an extra yeast. 2 of the Knorr chicken bouillons that we use for making the ramen seasoning, and a baking powder. Got Darryl and I a bit of a couple each of the Coke sugar free for him and vanilla for me. He does not like vanilla. I do though. I got the kids a variety of the dehydrated vegetables, so the tempura crisps, the veggie crisps, the pickles, and some fruit as well, all from Costco. These are all a really good price at Costco. When I went to spend the money at Coles that I needed to for the flybys, they had these 0 sugar cordials half price, so I grabbed a few of those for the kids to try. And I grabbed some udon noodles for the container. We've got a few left, but I like to have a few meals worth. Some anchovies. Darryl likes these on pizza. Just a small bag of potato starch because we've got none left, but I'd like to buy this in bulk. This will do for the moment. I bought the little Jats Minis because I've seen online where they dip them in chocolate and then sprinkles and have like faux freckles made out of them, and I thought the kids might like to do that as a Christmas sort of a treat. Oreos were half price. There's a lot more than this somewhere. There's the first 3. There's another half a dozen at least packets somewhere, they'll turn up. The coffee syrup was half price. I actually ordered this before I tried making my own. I'm happy with what we're using on our own, but at half price it wasn't a bad price anyway, so I grabbed that. I got the kids half a dozen each of the seaweed and plain rice crackers. Coffee I ordered from Woolworths. It was on special, or Coles. It was $22 for a tin, which is their special, but the tins, it was out of stock, so I didn't get it. But I didn't know whether Costco sold it as well, and they do. And they have this pack here, and it ends up being $4.38 per 100. So when the coffee was on special, it was $4.40 per 100, so it's still cheaper, even not on special, to get it from Costco. And I got our normal 2 ghees as well. I also got some of the low sugar ketchup, and I found this one on special as well, a keto one, so it'll be even lower carb, so Darryl can try that one as well. I got some angel hair spaghetti. We already have every other pasta, we didn't need anymore, but I did get some angel hair spaghetti because I like it, and we had none of that left. The protein stuff was half price at Coles or Woolworths, whichever one, and so I grabbed Darryl some bits and pieces, some bars and things to put in his drawer for snacking on throughout the month. I got a can opener. I mentioned that because I needed a new can opener. I got a couple of these, were in Big W maybe, I can't remember where they were, Big W I think. So I got a couple of these for the kids for Christmas stuff. These were also there, being Halloween, there was a few different Halloween type things, and so apparently you fill these with water and have eyeball ice cubes. I thought that was just kind of neat. The Costco, the liquid IV, we don't normally buy because it's quite high carb, but these ones are sugar-free ones, and they were on clearance. Instead of $39.99, they were $22, because apparently they go out of date at the end of the month. Well, you know, something like that doesn't really go out of date. So I grabbed a peach and a raspberry melon to try. We've got a couple of apple juices. I think there's at least one more of these. It's for the child who uses it with medicines, and a rice wine vinegar, some peanut oil for the chili crisp, and then our normal Diet Right sugar-free cordial. There's some of those as well, and the box of the lychee drink that I really like, that I buy just one box of each shopping trip, and I make it last as long as I possibly can. So that was table 1. All right, we've got table number 2. Now, I don't know, my mic was working probably the previous one, but anyway. All right, so I got some of the free glasses with my points from Coles. We've got scourers, we've got dishwashing liquid and shampoo, conditioner, as well as some foaming cleanser. We got soap. We got oven cleaner because I want to get the cast iron plates clean, and Darryl requested that to help. Some deodorant, some dishwashing gloves, the automatic sprayers. This one was half price. The Coles ones are $17, which is why I normally buy those ones. But this one was half price, so I grabbed one of these ones as well, and a bunch of the Coles refills. Now, I did do some shopping that got delivered to Mum's during the month, and I have doubled up on a few things. So I've got a few more of these than I would have ordered normally, but we will use them eventually. They don't go off. SodaStream bottles were half price, so I grabbed another pack of them so we can have more in the fridge staying cold. The ice cream cones for the kids, a fair few boxes of those, half a dozen boxes of those. I got the Aldi toilet paper because it's been requested for the toilet paper tissue holders to see if they fit the Aldi toilet paper, so I grabbed some of that to see if it does. I finally ran out of the cat food that I bought that I earned all the rewards points on, so I had to buy some more of that. This appears to be the cheapest one to buy, which is the Smitten brand from Woolworths, so we're going to give that a go. The cats are fed a well-rounded kibble. They don't need the wet food, but it's a good treat, and we do it as an evening thing for them. So I grabbed the new liquid allulose from Woolworths. This again is a bit like the margarita mix that I bought. It's supposed to help you make sugar-free slushies in the machines like the Ninja Slushie that I hope to get at some point over the heat. I got paper towel. This particular paper towel had 400 Flybuys points. It's a Quilton brand, so that's the paper towel that I bought. It was also on special. Hot dog buns for dinner tonight, because if you've ever been here when I was shopping, you know we have hot dogs for dinner. This was just I think it was an Aldi Isle of Shame buy. The clips that have the scoops on them as well. That was pretty cool. Some garbage bags, and I grabbed
the meat mallet, the small whisk, and a pastry brush for myself. I also grabbed these funny faces for the kids to do Halloween type cupcakes and stuff. This is the rest of the Oreos. As I said, I bought quite a few because they were half price, and the kids really enjoy using them in their ice cream. So that works really well. Some of the hand-pulled noodles that I really like for making chili noodles with. This was the other protein stuff that was half price that I grabbed for Darryl, and a sesame oil. I bought panko crumbs at Costco because I didn't realise that I had bought some at Coles or Woolworths. So I have not numerous bags. It doesn't really matter. We will use them. I bought these basically just because reminiscence, really. I used to have these when I was a kid and they were half price, and so I grabbed them. Some semolina, some marshmallows for the kids to make Rocky Road with, some popcorn, tomato paste, and tomato passata. I had used most of that up on the last batch of bolognese, so we needed to replace that. A couple of bags of cocoa powder and the basmati rice. This is half price, so when it's half price I tend to buy a bag of it. We do still have some white rice, but I really like this particular brand. It looks like I bought 2 of those boxes of granola bars. There's another one. 20 tins of the Coles coconut cream, some treats for the kids that were in all the areas. There's these little Halloween treats and lollipops and a couple of things that are, I bought that one for me, but these ones for the kids as just treats over the month, as well as these fruit snacks. These were half price as well, so I grabbed these ones. They really like the chewy fruit snacks. So there was just a few that were half price. I grabbed a couple of arborio rice, some of the raw sugar. These are one of my favorites. I grabbed them for over the month. I bought these corn chips this month because they were on sale, and on sale they were actually cheaper per 100 than the Coles brand ones. So I grabbed these particular ones. So they've got some slightly flavored ones for this month. These two are also more for me than anything else. I've got a bit of a stash going for the month so that Darryl doesn't have to buy anything for me in town where it's more expensive. He's giving me a look. And there's the other 2 apple juices. So that is table 2. Next table. All right, so we got 4 flats of strawberries. So they're 500 gram packs, so 4 kilos, 4 of them, 16. Did I just say that right? 1, 2, 3, 4. Yep, 16 kilos of strawberries. Some.
I was coughing. That wasn't so loud.
Some lettuce huts. They had cheap boxes of lettuce, but we don't have anywhere to store it and it'll go off too quickly. So I just grabbed some small ones from Costco. Same with carrots. I just grabbed a bag of carrots. We do have some carrots left in the fridge as far as I'm aware. So I just grabbed 1 bag and 1 bag of potatoes as well, because in this weather we don't have the storage and they just go bad too quickly. Lemons, these nice, really big lemons. These will be nice and easy to juice. This box I think was 24, which is pretty cheap for lemons. Apples, I think they were $3 a kilo. They weren't overly cheap, but we always use apples every month. So half a celery for stock and stuff. The broccoli was cheap. It was like a $10 box of like off bits, like not off bits, but cuts that weren't good for the prime selling, whatever. 2 of the big drumhead cabbages. I got some cucumbers from Costco. These were really cheap actually. They were only like $3 a kilo for these, so they were a good price. Lebanese cucumbers. We got a box of asparagus. I can't remember how much it cost, but a whole box of asparagus. We will really enjoy that. And then a couple of boxes of these are mixed bits and pieces that are just excess. Some stuff's not great in it and it will be given to the pigs. Some stuff is perfectly fine. Just 2 big boxes full of miscellaneous mixed stuff, $10 each, with all that stuff in there. We got 2 boxes of mangoes now. The mangoes aren't real cheap yet this season, but I'm only going back once more for the before Christmas, and I just don't know whether I will get cheap mangoes. So these were $40 a box. They're bulk mangoes. They're good size boxes, but they weren't excessively cheap, but we needed mangoes because we're low on mango for the freezer and stuff. Tomatoes, we got two big boxes of tomatoes. These are really nice red, great smelling tomatoes, and most of these are going to end up being pizza sauce. We will eat a few in the first week or whatever fresh, but they go off too quickly, so especially when they're this nice and ripe. So most of these will be pizza sauce. So that was this. There is still some more veggies, but that was all that fit on this particular table. So, yeah. Before second last table though, I got chocolate chips from Costco because these are the ones that I always buy, and they have they're a good size for baking and stuff with. I got some of the pizza cheese, 2 blocks of the cheddar cheese from Coles. We quite like this. It's only $9 for the kilo. It's quite a good price, and it's pretty good. A Nuttall buttery for use with baking the kids, and a puff pastry. I got some sour cream and some normal thickened cream. We buy the black and gold from town, and it's fine, but I buy this when I do it in case we're low and Darryl's not going again until after the weekend kind of thing. I did buy this everything bagel dip for myself to try. I could replicate this, I'm sure, but it was only like $5 something per kilo, and that works out, like, cream cheese is pretty expensive anyway, so I decided I was going to give it a go. I got a bunch of the chow mein noodles. I got told that these freeze well, so I've got these, 4 packets of these for the crispy noodle stir fries. Some of the sliced cheese for the kids. The light sliced cheese is a little bit lower in dairy, but it also, I like the fact that it's sliced. I don't like all the plastic wrap, but it makes it easier for the kids to have decent sized slices rather than like chopping stuff off of this. I got some butter because of all the cakes that I made for my friend last month. I ran out of butter completely, so I got 3 boxes of those. I got some more of the garlic pepper club cheddar. This was really nice, so I grabbed 2 more of those, some normal shaved parmesan and some of the finely grated parmesan. These were a Flybuys promotion, so I grabbed these for Darryl. I grabbed some of the Italian salami, which is really nice. They had this new honey ham, so I grabbed one of these to try. The shortcut bacon was on special. It ended up being really cheap for a 1.5 kilo bag of that, so I grabbed that. Some gyoza wrappers to make some more gyoza. I got one of the whipped cream in a can that we got, the unsweetened one. The ham was a really good price. $16.99 a kilo for the boneless leg ham. It's really nice to cut some big slabs of ham off sometimes for certain meals, so I grabbed that. Some Christmas sprinkles, just because it's coming into Christmas. Some peppermint crunch ones as well. The Angus beef burgers, we really like these. These are a really good burger, and they're individually sort of, wrapped and stuff, so Darryl can just cook one of these up too if he needs something to eat and we're eating something he won't. This garlic butter shrimp was new at Costco. Mum bought one. I decided to grab one as well as a treat. I grabbed the kids some yogurt to eat until I get some made, because the first couple of days back are always hectic, so I thought that they can use that until I get to it. I grabbed some melts for those little Jats things, and for like the Rocky Road and all that sort of stuff, they were on special as well, so they worked out quite cheap, slightly cheaper than the Kirkland, I believe, but being melts, they will melt and reset better. And some of the sugar-free stuff was on special as well, so I grabbed that for using as well. The hot dog sausages for dinner tonight. I grabbed some frozen potato, because potatoes don't last very well at the moment because it's too hot, so I grabbed some frozen stuff. I grabbed these Woolworths ones to try. They were the cheapest ones that Woolworths sold. And then at Costco, I found these home-style ones and these beer battered shoestrings, which were both a good price, so I grabbed those to try as well. Our normal frozen veggies that we buy, there's like 10 of those. The cheese Kransky was on special, but it's already pretty cheap at Costco, so I grabbed a few of those. They make easy meals for Darryl as well. And then 3 of this normal rolled roast that I do, I use these for mince for gyoza and sausage rolls and all sorts of things, as well as potentially as roast, and a pork loin so that Darryl could have some pork steaks as a change to the beef steaks as well. So that is the 4th table. All right, and the last of the items. I bought 2 of the Kirkland toilet paper, because someone wanted me to see if the toilet tissue, if I could get the tissue holder to fit the Kirkland. And because of packing purposes, I decided I was going to buy 2, so they were both the same, rather than buying my normal quilt on, except that in the end I had to break one up to fit it in, so I could have got the quilt on anyway. It doesn't matter. I normally don't buy Kirkland only because they are normally double length rolls, though I don't know, they don't look any bigger than the quilt on ones. We'll see. And when the kids would waste one, we'd lose the whole roll, but I don't know, we'll try this out again. We haven't tried it in a while, so, and I'll check it for the toilet roll holders. I got 2 boxes of bananas. Now, bananas were expensive. They were $45 a box, but we are almost out of bananas in the freezer. So it was something that we needed. And again, because I only go to the fruit and veg shop as irregularly as I do, sometimes I have to pay a little bit more for things than others, and that's fine. So I got a 25 kilo of baker's flour. I've got plenty of plain flour, so I didn't bother with that. But I did get 2 big bags of onions. They were cheap, like I don't know, $10, $20 a bag. I don't know. They were cheap, but they're new season onions. So the plan is to turn a whole bunch of these into caramelized onion jam, and maybe freeze a whole bunch so that I've got some around, because I keep on running out of onions. And that is everything.
Alrighty, so total spend this particular month was $2,821.95. I did $1,517 at Costco. It was a pretty big Costco shop, actually. That's like, normally I'd only spend around about the $1,200 mark, and I'm trying to remember what I bought. I bought the extra toilet paper to test out the toilet paper holders, but I feel like there's something else in there that was a significant price that I wouldn't normally have bought. I can't think what it is. Not sure. Anyway, $15.17.90 at Costco. It was there was 2 Woolworths shops. One was $3.43 and one was $25. The $25 was the one that I went in on Wednesday to get the specials that started on the Wednesday. Coles the same. $3.22 was the one that was delivered on Wednesday, and $1.28 was the one that I went in on Wednesday. So Tuesday specials in the $3.28, Wednesday specials on the $1.28. 85 at Aldi. It was a small shop at Aldi. I didn't need any rice milk or cereal because the kids are not eating cereal and rice milk at the moment. They are much preferring the granola or the ramen noodles or other breakfast foods. $400 at the fruit and veg shop. And I didn't get anything at the butcher or anything like that. So the total, as I said, was $2,821.95, which works out at about $403 a week for the 7 weeks, which is $57 and $59 per person per week, or $8.22 per person per day, or $2.74 per meal if you go by 3 meals per person. So I use that as my measuring stick. My budget is somewhat fluid for food now, because, as I discussed in the previous video, we get paid on completion of jobs, or YouTube gets paid monthly and it's not guaranteed income. So I only budget on my very much base income, which means that when I go shopping, there might be more to spend, but I budget on the base, and if I have some more to spend, then I can. So my fluid is a little bit, my budget is a little bit fluid. However, I do these calculations so that I've got a measuring stick to assess what I'm spending each time I shop, and trying to keep it in line, because at heart, I'm frugal. I don't like to overspend. I don't like food wastage, and I like to know where the money is going and what it's being spent on. So to do that, I have to keep a record of what I'm spending so that I'm aware of it. Now, there is also a small food budget that is weekly because of the IGA and the Food Works is in town, and Darryl sometimes goes in and out, and it's about $125 over the shopping period is what it averages out to. That's about what we spend on cream for coffee, or the occasional loaf of bread, or the occasional lettuce or tomato, or something specific for a recipe if the kids are asking for things and things like that. The occasional box of soft drink for the kids or us, all that sort of thing. So there is a small amount there, but I don't always include it in this. I'm aware of it, but I don't always include it in this. That's about the only thing. We don't include any. So occasionally Darryl will take the kids to Toowoomba for doctor's appointments or things like that, and they might have takeaway and stuff there, but we classify that as entertainment, not food, because it's unnecessary. They could take food and there's food at home, but it's a treat for the kids, so it becomes an entertainment thing rather than food. Other than that, this is all the food, this is all we consume, and the meat order, as I said, but the meat order was broken up into last month's budget. So that $1 per head per meal is what I use as the measuring stick. Now, when I first moved out here and when we first started doing it, and when we first started doing the monthly shopping and things like that, it was about $1.90 per person per meal, and that was what I wanted, under $2. My budget was a lot less available at the time, which was part of it, but also food has gone up. So I don't notice it as much as a lot of people because I don't buy a lot of convenience foods. or the convenience foods that I do buy are half price. Like, you know, I bought a bunch of fruit snacks for the kids this month, and that was purely because they were half price and it's a treat. But if they weren't half price, I wouldn't buy them because we don't need them. It's just a treat for the kids over summer, something sweet that they can eat in the hot days, especially with the pool going and things like that. I bought them a whole bunch of Oreos, and again, unnecessary. They were half price. I bought them because the kids could have them with their Ninja Creamies. So I make them a bunch of Ninja Creamies and they crush the Oreos into their Ninja Creamies. I bought myself some packets of chips and biscuits this month, more than I realised because I shopped at multiple different places, and again, I buy half price. So I must have seen, like, the chips that I like, which are the trio of cheese chips, I must have seen the ones that I like half price somewhere, and then I saw the cheese biscuits that I like and they were half price, so I bought them as well. But anyway, they just go in a drawer and I eat them over the whole 7 weeks because I'm pretty good about just snacking bits and pieces sort of thing. But I bought Darryl the protein snacks that were half price, things like that. So I do buy some convenience items, but I generally only buy them when they're half price, and I don't buy them otherwise, so I don't notice it. Though I do know, like, Cadbury chocolate bars are at half price of $4, and I bought a new one to try with Mum, a Lemon Dream one. And I paid the $4 for it because it was half price. But I do remember when that $4 was full price and $2 was half price. So, like, I am aware of the increase in prices, but they're things that we just don't buy very often. Coke, and that's the same. Darryl really likes Coke Zero, and over Christmas time we normally buy a carton or two of it. I bought a couple of 1.25s because they were half price just as a treat. And I normally buy the kids the Kirks. There's a mix of Kirks sugar-free at Costco that's like a box of lemonade, creaming soda and something else, which I'll buy them for Christmas. And I do notice the increase in the prices of those, but they're bought as treats, so the increase in price is less of an issue because it's not in my everyday budget. But my everyday items that I buy don't go up very much. I did notice that the sugar was 16 cents per 100, it's now 20 cents per 100. I did notice that the oats are the same. It was 16 cents per 100 and it's now 20 cents per 100, I think. And what else did I notice the other day? Rice crackers went down. Rice cakes, I think, went down slightly too. So there's that as well. And we always have fluctuations in price of the olive oil. So the olive oil went all the way up to $80 for the 6 litres from Kirkland last year sometime, or early in the year sometime. And it's back down to $55 for the 6 litres. So I don't know. Some pastas, some of the cheap pastas go up a few cents per packet and then they come back down when Coles or Woolworths do a promotion. But cocoa went through the roof, but that was a shortage issue. So most of the items that I purchase, frozen vegetables and stuff, went up quite considerably. I think they're like $6.50 per kilo now, and they were $5.30 maybe early in the year. But they're a necessity, so they are something that I pay the extra for, though they do go on sale pretty regularly. So I always check Coles and Woolworths on the Tuesdays and the Wednesday specials because I buy a dozen of them every time I go. So, you know, that extra 50 cents adds up when I'm buying a dozen bags of frozen vegetables. But in general, most of the things that we purchase have gone up only a small increment, and that shows. So $1.90 to $2.74 per person increase with a little bit of a more flexible budget. So I've been able to buy things like the treats, the Oreos, the chips for myself, the soft drinks and things like that, things that I wouldn't have been able to budget in sort of 2 years ago. But it hasn't gone up that much because of the way we shop, and I'm lucky in that. I'm lucky that I have the time to cook everything from scratch. I'm lucky that I have the skill to cook everything from scratch, and I'm lucky that I enjoy doing it. I would hate to be forced to do things, to do the type of cooking that I'm doing because you can't afford to do it any other way because the convenience stuff has gone up in price too much. I feel really bad for people who are in that situation. I am lucky. There's a lot of things that I'm not so lucky about, but in this particular sense, we chose this lifestyle because we had minimal overheads and we wanted the time. And I hustle. I hustle a lot, whether it's doing the stuff in the kitchen or whether it's doing the stuff to earn money or it's doing YouTube or whatever else. But I am grateful that I have the ability and the time and the skill set and the desire to live and eat the way we do, because we wouldn't be able to afford to do it otherwise. We eat extremely well on the budget that we have, and a lot of that is due to the time required, and I know that not everyone has that ability, and I feel, yeah, it's horrible to think about the people who don't have that time and ability to do it, and are having to sacrifice the quality of their food because they just can't afford to buy the way that they need to suit their lifestyles. So anyway, that was a bit of a squirrel. So that was the grocery trip for October. December's is going to be an odd one because it'll be Christmas. Not only will I have to pick up a few Christmas gifts and stuff because I have been slack this year. Normally I'd have it all done, but I just haven't really got in the spirit of it this year. The kids are being a little bit temperamental, and it's just, you know, we'll figure it out. But also, as I said, the prawns. So I did earn a bunch of rewards points with all of this as well. And I use that towards the Christmas groceries, generally speaking. So it makes me feel less bad about all the treats that I buy at Christmas time, because I use my rewards points to do it. So I always buy boxes of prawns. We buy them frozen, raw green prawns, and we eat them for a month or two over Christmas and thoroughly enjoy them. I always buy soft drink for the kids and for us. We normally buy some alcohol to make some cocktails. I'd really like to buy a Ninja slushy machine or something similar. Ideally, I'd like to get two. I'd like to get the two Kmart ones, because that's about the same price as buying one of the more expensive ones. And that way we could have an alcoholic one and a non-alcoholic one. Not that we drink very much, it's all a novelty. And I bet you that 95% of the time, only one would be used. And even if both were used, they would just be two different flavors. One wouldn't even be alcoholic, because that's how little we drink alcohol. But it's the idea. When I was a kid, or younger, 20s before kids, Christmas was all about, having drinks with the family and having a big family day and things like that. And it's changed a lot because of we have children, and that's what happens. But I think the nostalgia of the idea of what I had is what I'm trying to recapture, and it's not going to happen, at least not until my kids are adults anyway. But anyway, so I don't know where I was going with any of that. Christmas shopping, rewards points. So I have like $700 or $800 worth of rewards points between everyday rewards and flybys to use for Christmas shop. So that is fantastic. That will pay for a large swathe of, or nearly all of, the Coles and Woolworths shop. And that will be amazing, because it just gives me more money to spend elsewhere if I need it, or if not, it just means that I don't have to touch other money. And that both of those solutions are a good thing. So anyway, I'm going to leave this here so that I can go and edit this and get it out for everyone to see. So I will see you on the next video. It'll be the Sunday Squirrel video. It'll just be a little bit late. So see you later.